This is the episode where I get to tell you how grateful I am for you. To thank you for listening all these years to the podcast, for watching the videos, for buying my books, for following me on social media, in whatever way we've been connected. I really appreciate that so much. On this week in America, it's Thanksgiving week, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's ever endured a moment of any message I have communicated. And I promised you last week I'd share with you the only case of writer's block I've ever experienced. And I experienced it recently. And I only, truthfully, just broke it last week on this podcast. So maybe you're interested, maybe not. If not, skip this. I'll come back with some copywriting and marketing tips in our next episode. This one is about the only time I ever experienced writer's block, which I told you before many times does not exist, and what I had to do to get past it. It's important. I think it's something that all of you need to hear. Yes, you. I'm talking to you right now. I went through a period of questioning what I've been doing of late because I felt it was hurtful to my brand for me to appear in public. This is hard for me to admit, but this is where my thinking had gone. Many of you know, possibly, some of you care, that I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 12 years ago. And less than a year ago, I had brain surgery that reversed many of the effects, left me with a few idiosyncrasies of its own, but I'm doing so much better. I'm so grateful for the surgeons, for the science, for the grace of God that allowed me to enter into that operating room and come out better than I went in. It's just been a wonderful ride. It has left me with a bit of a impairment of my speech, somewhat, and the physical tendency to look and seem hesitant and perhaps weak, physically and intellectually. And I promise you, neither of those things is true, but I've been very concerned about how I appeared for the first time, really, ever. I've always been conscious of my appearance in terms of vanity, which is, looking back, I think how funny that is, because I've never been like the kind of person you'd think was vain about his physical appearance, but I was. Passed through a period where I didn't care about it anymore, and then I've come into a place where I've been very self-conscious about it because of the peculiarities of Parkinson's and the surgery I had. I had to make a decision, and that was, am I going to let my fear of other people's opinions stop me from doing the work I was put here to do? And the answer is no, because I feel like I'm just getting started. At the age of 58, I feel like I'm finally getting started. I'm on mission. I know what I'm here to do for sure, down to my core. I'm here to communicate, to encourage, to inspire, to educate, to help people make more of their lives the way God intended for them to do it when He sent them to this planet. So whatever you feel you were put here to do, my job is to help you find the right messaging to get your point across in a way that makes people want to receive from you, to do business with you. Never been more clear on the fact it's important for me to push ahead, especially with the impairments that I face, because there are people waiting for an example to show them what's possible. If you are a person who has some kind of affliction, whether it be Parkinson's or MS or cerebral palsy or the variety of other delightful diseases we've seen of late in our species, if you have some kind of disability, or if you simply feel that you've gotten too old for the marketplace, that's a thing. I never used to think it was a thing until I somehow got a lot more gray in my beard and began to act in certain ways that make me appear to be older than I actually am because of the Parkinson's disease. I've become acutely aware that there is a prejudice against older people, but in far fewer people than you think there is. And it's important to me that if there are people out there who have, I know if you're Gen X or a boomer, I know you have tremendous value to offer. You have tremendous wisdom and experience and perspective and insight that other people don't have because they haven't lived long enough to get it. You paid a price for it. And it would be a tragedy if you went to your grave without sharing it. And for most of us, that means we've got to start our own business and put our own message in writing and get it out to the world and make our contributions that way. And especially if you're like me, here I am in this second phase of my life where I'm more excited about the possibilities of what one person can do by helping so many other people through the miracle of the internet. It's available to all of us. And I'm so passionate about this. I want you, especially if you're somebody who thinks online is just a vile cesspool of never will you find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Yeah. Well, guess who gets to clean it up? We do. We can step forward with a message of peace and hope and love and make a difference. And I'm encouraging you, don't let some perceived disability or difference that you're embarrassed about stop you from doing the work God created you to do. It's more important for you than for others, I think, to step forward and model the opportunities for you to step forward and model the opportunities that are available to each of us, regardless of our charisma or our youth or our age or whatever. These external shells, these imperfect jars of clay in which we're contained will pass away. But the love we leave behind, the connections we make, and the service we provide to other humans will not pass away. But you got to do those things first. So my writer's block was I just wasn't publishing because I couldn't grab hold of what I needed to say until I realized why that was. That's because this was that message that I had to release in order to release the fountains of creativity again. All my life, I've been so delighted to see that I have this endless fountain of ideas that seem to flow from me all the time until I hit this point where I began to worry about what will people think about the way you speak now? What will people think about the way you move now? When I stopped worrying, when I took my eyes off me and put my eyes on you, the people that I serve, that worry dropped away and my writer's block was gone. I hope this is helpful to someone. I feel like it was for a certain group of individuals, maybe you in particular. And if that's you, I release you to go be your full self, all of you. And for more on that, go back to my previous week's episode about personal branding, because I've got some things to say about that I don't think you've heard elsewhere. I'm pretty sure you haven't. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you have an opinion to render, please put it below wherever you're watching or listening to this content. And until next time, my prayer for you in this holiday season of gratitude is I pray a prayer of thanks for you, first of all. And I pray that God will bless you and give you more than you could possibly ask or even imagine. Peace to you, peace to your house, and may you live long and prosper with purpose. See you next time.